It's your boy Doug with part 2 of working in Powder Springs. Good morning to those who woke up to be with the Lord today. Happy birthday to those born today, June 23rd. My condolences go out to those who did not get up today. I'm out in Powder Springs helping out a guy with his Samsung refrigerator. Got to come back and see him. I'm going to sit on an ice maker. But right now, we're going to call somebody who's probably staring at her phone, wondering why her man has not called her. And rather than call me, she sits there and stares at her phone, wondering why I ain't call her. And she also following me on the GPS dot. So let's give her a call.
Thank you for calling. Check out empty phone. Please hold while I try to connect you. In slash A, that means it does not apply to you. Hey, Puffy?
When were you gonna call?
I was waiting for you to call me. I didn't want to disturb you while you were working. I didn't know,
You didn't know
how I was
what?
gonna.
You following the dot. I know you know what I'm at.
No, I don't actually. I'm working.
Oh, you working today?
Yeah. I'm working, and I didn't see your dot because I haven't seen my phone. It's down there, right there. Yeah.
I was just calling because you accused me of not calling.
You know you don't be calling me. You know you don't be calling me.
You called me just now.
And I appreciate you calling me just now, baby. How's your day going? How's your morning?
Well, it did. It went on. Customer's happy. I got to come back. I got to sell him an ice maker.
Okay.
That's
always good, right?
Yeah, I ain't got none to sell them. I got one coming. And when they come in, I'm going to come back out here and sell it to them.
Okay. Stay right there.
I'm in Powder Springs. You ever been out here? Gone. It says 77. Yeah, 73. It's come slow.
Anyway. So, did you see my little note that I left you?
It says, please wait till I get back home.
Bobby, do not say that.
Do not touch her.
You see my little love note. That's the honey-do list. So the honey-do list is going to go on that wall so that way you can always see it
And then
right there.
I read it. I see what it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need, hold on.
Yeah.
Clear it back. Clear it back.
Not till you get home. Nah.
All right, so now we have like we said, with the summary witnesses and the charts and graphs and all that, a lot of it under seal. A lot of it they don't want us to see.
I don't know why not.
All rise, come on in. I would like to enter sealed exhibits. Please turn off the public screens. And that's what we got. So we shall see what is being said once the stuff comes out. AUSA, this flights Agent Joseph C. to and from Los C. to and from Las Vegas to Van Nuys. He pronounces it Van Nuys. Paul Arthur on the flight. Paul means you got Paul.
Them cars.
And these messages.
2026.
Joseph, Puff, KK, and someone named Anika. Anyone know who Anika is? All right, so Paul Arthur has been discussed numerous times. He'd fly around the country, zigzag. They're showing receipts. They're showing messages and flight records for participants in this free call. And it looks like Puff, KK, and someone named Anika are being discussed. And that's what we have, right? These individuals showing a RICO sex trafficking conspiracy correspondence with the people, Diddy's inner working circle. You know what I find interesting? They said the defense would be a couple weeks. The juror they fought so hard for dismissed. Now no defense. Conspiracy. Rebecca Fig. That is interesting, right? Before the jury was off, and we're talking about that juror, number 6. The defense said it would be a couple weeks, right? But that juror's off. Now the defense is saying that they're going to arrest in one day? Do they think they had one of these jurors in the bag to muddy the waters? And their plan got botched? Now their whole strategy's gone?
They're going to go for the
They did
appeal.
say it was going to take weeks. They did say it. So why the sudden shift and change, Attorney Mark?
Yeah.
Why do you now say that you're going to be done? Just a couple witnesses. Suddenly after that juror that they were so gun-ho with keeping on the stand, or keeping on the juror, I say stand because the jurors are all in this little box here watching the case. The way I just read it, too, I will say, what if they don't bring any witnesses and they just do what they say here? Kind of what they're saying, that the defense is expected to rest by the end of Tuesday after submitting some exhibits into evidence. Has the strategy shifted where they're not even going to bring any witnesses and just submit some exhibits into evidence and that's it? It's kind of what, now that I'm reading back, they might not even bring on anyone tomorrow, the defense. Why would they do that? Well, one, do they feel like the prosecution didn't prove a case, or are they going ineffective assistance to counsel for appeal? That's a very interesting strategy they got going on here. Things have changed. Things have dramatically changed over the weekend. That's an interesting strategy. A defense attorney might choose not to call any witnesses, even if they have them, because the burden of proof lies with the prosecution, not the defense. The defense doesn't have to prove their client's innocence. Instead, they aim to show reasonable doubt about the prosecution's case. Calling witnesses can sometimes backfire, potentially strengthening the prosecution's case or damaging the defendant's credibility. And it appears at this point the defense might be just sharing some exhibits instead of bringing anyone up. We're waiting for more information to come out about what Joseph C., a agent with the Homeland Security, is saying while he's on the bench here. He's presenting, he's going over charts. Prosecutors claim that about 45 sex parties took place between 2021 and 2024. The last one just weeks before Combs was arrested in November. The chart only included freak-offs that prosecutors were able to corroborate with multiple records. So the jury, they're saying that the jury has saw records of 45 freak-offs that occurred between 2021 and 2024. But that's not all the freak-offs. It was just what they could show to corroborate with multiple records. 45 freak-offs. So each freak-off is a crime, per se. So 45 freak-offs the jury has saw. Rebecca goes on to say they fought to the death for that one juror, and now nothing. Yeah, it just seems like once that juror was off, the defense stopped putting up a defense. Right? And no, we have. At the beginning of this trial, we've heard. Now, in fairness, the prosecution also, had more people on too, and Gina's gone. Chef Atkinson not there. Others have not shown. But the defense has clearly said they're going to need some weeks. I've heard it. We've talked about it. And now you got the juror issue. Their so-called juror that they wanted, juror number 6, gone. And now the defense is defense witnesses have dwindled down to nothing. Nothing. There's no more. Like, where are they at? Where are they at? And now you're not even going to put on a defense? Are you kidding me? Can Diddy still ask for a plea at this point? I mean, I'm sure he can. He's not going to. He's going down. I think he's just going down for the appeal. The appeal. I think the strategy has now turned to appeal. They're playing 5 audio messages right now. Listen to Mr. Combs' 5 audio messages. So Combs right now, audio messages of Combs right now is being played to the jury. Please put on the headphones. Public can't hear. So right now they're playing tapes of Diddy's voice. Wish we could hear, but we can't. But yeah, that's crazy. Things have dramatically changed, folks. After 6 weeks, 34 witnesses, and hundreds of bottles of baby oil presented as evidence, the government is about to rest its case in the Sean P. Diddy Combs federal sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial. 34 witnesses, hundreds and hundreds of bottles of baby oil. They're going to rest tomorrow. The defense is going to rest tomorrow too. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, so yeah, they're listening to 5 messages. We're waiting to see what can be said here. We get any other names. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Now we know that they're not even going to put up a defense.
Can't. It's going to snitch.
Not calling any witnesses could be a strategic decision. If the prosecution's case is weak or inconsistent, the defense might decide to focus on discrediting the prosecution's witnesses and evidence rather than presenting their own. I'll read that again. This might be a strategic decision on the defense's part, not bringing any witnesses or limited witnesses. I don't even think 2 are coming on at this point.
It's going to snitch.
The way I just saw it, they're just going to put some exhibits and that's it. That's their defense. Well, we shall see. Not calling witnesses can be a strategic decision. If the prosecution's case is weak or inconsistent, the defense might decide to focus on discrediting the prosecution's witnesses and evidence rather than presenting their own. So, consensual, consent, not guilty, consent. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a consensual sex romp between parties, but nothing criminal here. Therefore, you have to vote not guilty of all charges. I mean, they're going to try to say some of the witnesses are liars. All right, so this is we got Combs being played in court. His voice being played in court. In the meantime, I'm just refreshing screens to see what pops up. See what's being said. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. I mean, this is a very risky strategy on the defense. You know, some people say, well, why isn't Diddy up on the stand? Well, Diddy's cross would have been brutal. There's no way Diddy would have been brought on that stand. But no way. What's this? Got another exhibit. GX1406, page 1. Were there explicit videos cited in this chart? What do they show? Sexually explicit videos. Is there a woman in one of them? Jane. I also recognized Cabral, Sly from Atlanta, and Sean Combs. And were there other men? Yes. All right, so the agent is in possession. The agent has videos, sexually explicit videos of Jane, Sean Combs, and Cabral, aka Sly. So there's more evidence the jury seeing in exhibits, videos to prove what Jane said it was true in reference to her having freak-offs with Sly, Holmes, and then they're also saying other men. Don, probably, Paul, Anton, and there's others, right? There's other names that have been mentioned.
Sean.
So it's just corroboration time. That's what it is. It's corroboration time.
Usher.
This
Baby.
Oh, who's coming? They're moving the screen. Hey! What's going on here? Family? Sean Diddy Combs? I didn't see the face. What son was that? Was that one of his sons? I did not see the face. I saw the back. Whose face was that? It looked like one child. Who was that? Was that Justin? People were saying Justin in the chat. Yeah, it didn't look like Christian. Christian's kind of like tall and thin. Not saying Justin isn't thin, but he's more of a thin build. All right. So he didn't look like he was very happy when he was walking in. He didn't look like he was strutting along. One child? One child? That's it? One child coming in? What happened to Diddy's whole family that started out at the beginning of the case? Brought his own daughters. His own daughters came. They never came back. There's some rumors and speculation that there is some friction within the Diddy family. But not friction before it started. But once that first week happened, not a unified front. And some of the family members probably couldn't stomach this. Jurors, how do you think the jurors stomaching this stuff with the freak-offs? I mean, jurors don't get paid very much at all. They don't get really nothing to be here. And you think jurors, they get very little, like, little money. Some of them. Little tiny money. They're losing out. You really think they would want to just sit on a bench for 7 weeks and watch freak-off videos and listen to all this? Though, some of the jurors might think economic opportunity when this case is over. Some of the jurors might feel like, hey, I come out, I can make a book, I can go on to all the media circuits and talk about the case. Opportunity. Sometimes these high-profile cases, jurors come out and speak afterward. Or they're going to need a long vacay after this. They need to get all that out of their system of what they just witnessed. It's probably traumatizing. All right, so we're still on these, agent is still going through all these records. freak-off videos. We'll get more information shortly of what is actually being brought in the courtroom. Special Agent Joseph C. is on the witness stand, continuing his testimony from Friday. He expected to testify throughout the day. The witness is discussing additional text messages and videos collected during the investigation. Videos, freak-off videos, that's what he's sharing, the freak-off videos. That's what he's sharing, freak-off videos, discussing them. We shall see where that goes, folks. Welcome aboard. Continuous coverage of the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial. Looks like one of his children are there. His mom is there. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, folks, if you think about it. There's really no defense. I can't emphasize how crazy that is. That the prosecution would lay out all this stuff, and you would think the jury would at least want to hear from Diddy's side. Give us an explanation on this. Give us, say something. Say something. Say, bring some people on. Say something. What happened to those other witnesses that they were going to bring up? They're not going to bring them up now? Be a bad strategy here. So we're not resting today. We are resting tomorrow. Tomorrow. The jury is about to see explicit videos that were collected during the investigation. The clips are not being played for the gallery due to the ruling from the judge earlier in the trial to protect the privacy of those involved. All right, so Washington Post, more freak-off videos being played for the jury right now. Freak-offs. I think once this case is over, too, depositions and different things in reference to Diddy, civil suits will be put out there, too. Possibly. Here's ABC News. ABC News has just reported prosecution expects to arrest Tuesday, defense not calling any witnesses. I will repeat, the defense not calling any witnesses. The defense has told the judge this morning that it plans to rest its case without calling any witnesses. Holy smokes. Now it's been confirmed now. We're trying to decipher it through. Only submitting some evidence, exhibits. You got to be kidding me.
He's gonna snitch.
Not showing any witnesses. Whoa. It's a big deal, folks. Doesn't get any bigger than that. We're still, I guess the jury right now is still watching these freak-off videos. Yo, you're not gonna call any. And the defense thinks they can appeal and have this case reversed when they're not even bringing anyone on. Combs appears in explicit videos cited in court. So they're playing videos with Combs in the videos. Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Joseph C. confirmed that several sexually explicit videos featuring Jane with other men are cited in the summary chart. The videos are collectively several hours long, the agent said. Sean Combs appears in these videos. The jury is viewing clips of the videos and listening through headphones. The public and press cannot see the videos, which are under seal. Freak off videos. This report just came out by NBC. Joseph C., a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, is back on the stand and was asked about text messages Combs sent. In one text, Combs' chief of staff, KK, planned his stay in a Las Vegas hotel, where it appears he was planning a hotel night. She texted saying she had a room at the Waldorf Astoria in Las Vegas, that's a new hotel, putting Plan B in his nightstand, and said a jeweler selling Van Cleef can meet him in New York. Oh! KK put Plan B in his nightstand at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Vegas. Plan B. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They got proof that KK put Plan B in a nightstand for Diddy at the Waldorf Astoria. Plan B, the morning after pill. Yeah, KK. She's even putting protection on a nightstand. Unbelievable for a freak off to happen. Let's play some videos with attorney screens off. While videos are being played right now to the jury, they say Combs takes off, then puts back on his glasses, leans over to pick up something from the floor, and sits back up. So behaviors. Looks like he's moving around a little bit. Diddy getting a little bit nervous on that stand, shaking, uncomfortable that he's seen naked, and the jury's looking at Diddy naked in a corner, watching him. Maybe he's naked, maybe he just has a towel on, maybe he has, I don't know, but he's in the freak-offs. Has now been confirmed he is in these videos himself. Cabral is in the videos. Jane is in the videos. But the jury is literally seeing Diddy unclothed or partially clothed. What do you think the jury's going through with her watching all this? That is crazy. That is crazy. Criminals go to trial if they dare. Some win, most don't. But imagine going on trial only for the jury to see you naked having sexual relations with others. And they have to see that. How humiliating. How embarrassing. How nightmarish for the jury. Like, what? He's a defendant, and they're showing videos, freak off videos, and the jury gets to see him. That's crazy. The charge conference scheduled the day before. So Wednesday will be a charge conference. All right, so they're watching. Diddy can't see the videos as they play in court. Last week, he watched them in a holding cell before court started. The Daily Mail said he was seen licking his lips when he walked into court. What? What? Just so everyone knows, on Wednesday they're going to have a charge conference between the parties. I'll just kind of give you a summary of what that means. A charge conference is a meeting between the judge and the attorneys in a trial held after the parties have presented their cases but before the jury receives instructions. The primary purpose is to finalize the jury charge, which includes the instructions the judge will give to the jury before they begin deliberations. So it appears like this charge conference is going to be happening on Wednesday. Just to give everyone a heads up. Magnolia says, wish I was joking, but not. Why would Diddy, lick his lips after seeing a freak-off video? Is he getting off to it? Is it giving him flashbacks? Is that going to be the last freak-offs or the porn he sees before he goes to prison for the rest of his life? He goes, that's the last video I'll ever see. Diddy can't see them in the courtroom because any screen he'd have could be seen by the gallery. So if videos are going to be played, he watches them in the holding cell before court. He licked his lips. Yo, that's gross. He licked his lips. That's coming from news reports. I don't think they'd be lying. That's crazy. They also say Cabral is in these videos. Cabral is the sly guy from Atlanta, the ATL. He licked his lips and rubbed his hands together to be accurate. So new information coming out of the courtroom on Diddy's behavior after the jury sees these freak-offs. Crazy. Sean Diddy Combs' defense will not present any witnesses. No defense witnesses. Licking your lips at freak-offs. Oh yeah, put the chapstick meme up. Remember chapstick? Old Brendan Paul said he'd get him chapstick. Chapstick. The chapstick defense. This is crazy. All right, so we're waiting to see what is this. We might be just sitting here just waiting to see what's being said, but I can say that it appears the jury right now is watching freak-off videos. So they're all watching. Now, I don't know if they're going to watch hours and hours. I mean, this guy's going to be on all day, so he's going to say more things. But I also feel like a lot of things are going to just be shared to the jury. Insane. I think that's a really bad strategy. Not bringing on anyone. What happened to, wait a second. Things have all changed. What happened to these two employees that they insisted just as early as last week that they were going to bring up on the stand? Vashta Wilson and Stephen Lynn. What happened to the defense witness Alexander Barday? What happened to the paralegal that works in Attorney Mark, his office? What happened to the paralegal? Why aren't they testifying? No defense witnesses? Are you kidding me? We shall see. Diddy's just sitting there listening to, I don't know why, apparently he can't see the freak-offs himself while he's in the court just because of the viewing. But he's sitting there watching the jurors watch the freak-offs. So you got your voyeurism, Diddy. Other jurors watching you in action or watching you perform, Diddy. Now, Fox News puts out a interesting article that they just put out a little bit ago, and it says, missing witnesses and lingering questions plague prosecution as Diddy trial nears conclusion. Diddy's defense team expected arrest this week as jurors may face challenges separating emotions from legal. Despite the trial coming to a close, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani admitted that lingering questions remain with the case, including questions about missing key witnesses. She goes on to say, what happened to Gina, who was victim number 3 in the indictment? The government said they were unable to get a hold of her, and she did not testify. Was she afraid?
Yep.
Was she embarrassed?
Of course.
Was she paid off by Combs?
Yes, she was.
Or was there another reason why she didn't comply with the subpoena? Was she paid off? Regardless, it was a mistake by the prosecution to list her as a victim when they did not have assurances that she would appear. They're saying that this prosecutor, former federal prosecutor, says that could be a mistake. They should have known Combs has the resources to threaten or pay witnesses not to testify and have planned accordingly. Now, there has been no allegations in court that Diddy threatened or paid witnesses not to testify. Prosecution also wonders why Diddy's chief of staff, KK, wasn't called to testify. Brendan Paul testified that KK basically ran the enterprise. Know what I mean? Like, prosecutors like, maybe those are two strategic mistakes by implying that Gina was going to testify. Now she's not. Why even mention her in the first place at the beginning of the trial? And two, when other people keep saying KK, KK, and the prosecution doesn't bring KK up. When you hear about the horrible actions of P. Diddy, not only here, but then you see the actions on video, at some point, the jury will be told, okay, perhaps that it was that was just domestic violence. But that's not really what this is about something bigger. The idea that the jurors will be able to separate that in their mind is highly unlikely, even though they will be told to. It's just people chiming in. He should have exposed the higher-ups and just called out Clive Davis and the puppet masters. We all know in the industry what's going on here. Thank you for the comment. Black oil to soil. Clive Davis. His name has been floated around. And others. What's going on here? All right, so NBC now says 50 explicit video files made just before Christmas of 2021. This report that's out now says federal agents discovered 50 explicit video files in Combs's possession that were created from December 17th to the 21st in 2021. The jury was shown 2 of these video files. Combs looked around the room as the videos were played in court, rather than at the monitor showing the footage in front of him. At the same time, Diddy's defense attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, and Combs's mom, Janice, focused on the jury's reactions to the graphic videos. Oh, Mama Combs. Jury watching. Mama Combs and Westmoreland. Can we go to the 5-minute mark? Looking at row 16. Does it also have an explicit video? Yes. Please play it, then take it down. All right, so again, more videos being shared to the jury. The jury are watching freak-off videos right now. Hey, that guy just got out of prison. That's a prison uniform. That's what they wear. That guy just got out of prison right there. That guy with that outfit, that's what inmates wear. In the Metropolitan Detention Center right there, that guy just got out of prison. He had his little manila envelope. Hey, that guy just got out. He must have got released right from the court. They do that sometimes, right? He must have been like a supervised release or probation violation. That guy just got out. Yeah, he looked happy. He just got out. That was a jail outfit. That's what they wear in the Fed. The grays. You can buy it. I mean, they also give you jailhouse outfits, but you can wear those grays. You can buy those grays. So a lot of people on the block, they wear the grays all day. They just wear gray sweatpants. So when you're on the block, you don't have to wear your uniform. Maybe during the daytime, during the week you do, and weekends and after hours, you just walk around in sweats. Or he could have got released from a prison there, but that guy just got out. Fresh out of jail. Fresh out of the feds. When I say probation, pretty doubtful that he had probation. Feds don't give probation. Well, they do, but they don't. The chances of anyone just getting probation right out the rip instead of prison time is literally slim to none. You're doing time, followed by supervised release, but you're doing time. What prison do you think Diddy will go to if convicted? Unless he has health issues, I think he's going to ADX Florence, Colorado. I think he's going to ADX. I don't think you can put him in the general population, even in US. He's definitely not going to low. He's definitely not going to a camp. Life sentences policy, they don't put anyone in mediums with life sentences right off the rip. You can have life sentences and work your way down to it. You'll never go to a life sentence. Ever. Policy does not allow that. Could go to a medical center. He's going to be in a USP right off the rip, due to the fact of who he is. I think the best place to put him probably is in ADX, Florence, Colorado, the Supermax, right outside the Rocky Mountains. You'll be looking at Pikes Peak through his window, through a little slit in the window. You can see Pikes Peak. I'm sure he'll wish that he could be skiing or out there playing in the snow, but he's going to be in a concrete
How long
cell.
does it take you to get out the fucking intersection?
Cold condensation on the wall. Fed like a dog. Food slots. Those things are loud too. You ever hear a food slot land? Oh my goodness. We'd be waking up every morning at 5 a.m. The cart will be we're just talking while we wait for what comes up. But the food cart, the breakfast cart will be going down the rows. You'll be in like a solitary type cell. If he's sleeping in his bed, the guard might give him a warning and tap his keys. Yo, Diddy, breakfast. He might be under his covers. I don't want it. He might get up, cold, waking up. Who is this? Waking me at 5:36 in the morning, crack the dawn, with the coals in my eyes. Why are they asking me for breakfast and why? Something like that, remix Biggie. But he grabs his tray, eats, puts his tray back onto the slot, trays up. They usually give you about 20-30 minutes to eat. So you'll get a little tray, probably a little bit of grits, little eggs, cereal, a little milk. That's it. Puts his tray, sits there, puts his trays up, trays back, probably goes into a cell, covers up again, lays in his bed, life. In his situation, maximum security, probably won't have to work, he won't require to get a job. Of course, he can get books. There's a limit on how many books you can get. If you get more than a certain amount of books in your cell, they'll put the other in your property. But you only can have a certain amount of property too. You really can have only like one big duffel bag worth of property. You can get a legal locker. You'll probably have a legal locker somewhere with legal work. He has a lot. Look at all the evidence in the RICO. I mean, thousands of pages of documents. I'm sure there's thousands of pages of legal work that he has in his cell. He might even try to play. Oh, look at the big guy out there. Who is that? He might even try to play jailhouse lawyer and the law library. Right? That's it. Thing about it is, good luck listening to the radio out there in Florence, Colorado, right outside Colorado Springs. There's only like 2 radio stations out there, and they don't have hip hop. He can't get an MP4 player while he's in Supermax or in the shoe, like the inmates do at the lows, mediums, and everything. General population, you can get an MP4 player. They got True Links. You can buy music, hook it up to your little device. So inmates do have music, but you can't get those privileges in a Supermax, and you can't get those privileges while you're in the shoe. So he's stuck with a little AM/FM radio. That's his life. That's going to be his life if he gets convicted. That's it. He'd be sitting in maximum security the rest of his life. There's no way that I could see the BOP putting him and having him walk around, even in control movement, in a USP. The USPs have control movement. You have a unit, and then they let the inmates out when it's time to go to chow, go eat. 3 times a day, inmates line up at the front of the unit. Chow time! They open the door, and everyone walks like cattle to the chow hall in control movement. Guards up there with their guns in the tower, barbed wire and fencing and all over the place. In order to leave the unit, you got to have a pass. You might be able to leave the unit to go to rec, go to medical. That's what a life. But he ain't going to them. You're not going to let Diddy just walk around a compound in a USP. One, there's probably a lot of the gangs from the West Coast that want to take him out. You're just not going to do it. He's got influence and everything like that. Holmes appears to be taking notes in his seat as the videos are being played for the jury. He's wearing headphones to follow along. Take notes. Take notes, Diddy. Take that. Take that. So we got this up on the screen. This is the last 6:23. We got somebody else out there. Somebody else out there interacting with the marshals. Marshals run the show at the courthouse. Don't play with the marshals either. Don't play with the marshals being transported either. I could tell you crazy stories on Con Air. I don't know if you ever heard of Con Air. All right, so this went away. So we'll put up another, here we go, got a new backdrop. Diddy in court. Con Air is crazy in the feds. So if Diddy wanted to go, well, if Diddy gets transported anywhere, he might go on Con Air. He would probably get his own special. See, high-profile inmates get their own special, like wherever prison he gets designated to by the BOP. So let me also share some things there, and I know we're jumping ahead. All right, so if he gets convicted, which is very likely, he's going to get convicted of things. It's not like a in state court, county court, where sometimes you get sentenced that same day. That's not happening. So if he gets convicted of anything, the judge is going to push out sentencing for about 90 days, maybe 120 days out. So if we're talking about the end of this month, a verdict comes in July, August, September, October. I would say sometime between some late September, early October, mid-October, he'll get sentenced. So it's about 2 months, 4 months out, up to 4 months. Now it can be extended if the prosecution or the defense just needs more time or whatever. Plus they have to argue about the point number. But it's a PSI. And I've said this before to the viewers, but in case people don't really understand the process. Judge will order a pre-sentence investigation. Now, his defense can waive it, highly unlikely. Pre-sentence investigation is the probation department will just gather all the facts on this case from the victim's point of view, from the prosecution's perspective, and also the defense's perspective. So, probation from the U.S. probation in the SDNY will go to MDC to interview him. And he can share anything mitigating, anything that's, they want the judge to know, whether he has health issues, whether it's going on in his mind, whatever like that. He would be probably in the presence of his lawyers. Now, he can also limit to what he says to the PSI people based off the conviction without incriminating himself. So that will probably be ironed out what he will tell the PSI people. Then the PSI people, the probation will come up with a comprehensive report. And in this report, will lay down what their sentencing recommendation is based off the crime. There'll be a bunch of points. Points. All about numbers. It's the numbers game. Points. RICO, leadership, ringleader points, sophisticated means, obstruction of justice, witnesses, all different types of enhancements. Now, as lawyers can try to pick apart each enhancement, argue why this enhancement doesn't apply, and the judge will ultimately decide, and then you go to the sentencing hearing. Now, the judge will agree with the guidelines, disagree with the guidelines, depart from the guidelines, go lower, maybe even go higher, maybe even consider the higher, even if prosecutors somehow come up with a number that's not life, the judge can go even higher, sentence him to life, upward variance, lower downward departure. Judge would have to explain why they're going outside the guidelines by policy, and he gets sentenced. But it's not an overnight thing from the time of his conviction. So there will be another hearing down the line, another few hearings possible on the matter. So I'm thinking October. If convicted. I'm pretty sure there will be a conviction, but our society is kind of strange right now when it comes to juries and jurors. Crazy. You know, these are the jurors. The jurors might have a totally different mindset than all of us. Jury sees more than 12 minutes of sexually explicit video clips. The jury watched at least 13 clips of sexually explicit videos recorded in November of 2021, December of 2021, February of 2022, August of 2022, and October of 2022. They watched more than 12 minutes of the footage. Jurors listened through headphones as they watched the clips. The public and press cannot see the videos, which are under seal. The panel watched the videos after Joseph C., Special Agent for Homeland Security Investigations, testified on the stand. Referred to a summary compiled by the prosecution. The chart cites several other explicit videos that the jury did not view, he said. He confirmed that about 50 sexually explicit videos were recorded between December 17th and 21st, 2021. Are you kidding me? He just testified that 50 videos, 50 freak-off videos were recorded in just a 4-day span in 2021. From December 17th, 2021, it looks like Diddy and his people recorded 50 freak-off videos. 50. Crazy. In 4 days. 50 freak-off videos. Or it could have been the same freak-offs and just stop, record. I don't know. The point is, in a 4-day span, there were 50 videos right before Christmas. Unbelievable. 50. We talked about Viagra, Cialis, different enhancements, and rhino pills. Because some of you might be wondering, 50? 50? Are you kidding me? 50. Now they're saying, let's go to chart 1408. Who are the names? Jonathan Perez, the assistant, Trump International Hotel. What is the address listed? 1 Central Park West in Manhattan. You're saying, what room number? for 7Y120. Is that the Trump Hotel? Room number 0508. 0508.
50th floor.
Yep. Trump International Hotel, located at 1 Central Park West. So they're discussing a freak-off that appears to have happened at the Trump Hotel in room 0508. Ms. Comey, the judge says, could we turn back on the public exhibit screens? Ms. Comey says, we are about to show an exhibit with Jane's true name. If you'd like me to be turning it on and off, blank. The judge is like asking, could we turn back on the public exhibit screen? Maybe the judge is like, yo, this stuff needs to be, some of this stuff needs to be public. I think the judge just called the prosecutor out by saying, why does all this have to be sealed? Or why can't the public see this? So maybe the judge is like, yo, this is a little bit too much secrecy going on here. I understand maybe some freak off videos should be sealed, certain things, but are you going to just seal everything from the public? Maybe the judge realizes that might help Diddy's defense on appeal down the line by saying, we are the secret hearing. $50 videos. 50 Cent should capitalize on that. If he wants to sit there and troll Diddy again, 50 Cent should hone in on 50 videos. 50 Cent. 50. It's a lot of videos. Tanika Brown says, I think, let me go back to your comment here because that's an interesting. Did you say that the witnesses could have changed their mind? Is that what I saw here earlier? I think his witnesses changed their minds. I just saw that comment come through. That's going back to, and I'm going to go back and start reading some of the comments, but that's an interesting thing because it goes back to these two employees that were ready to testify. Do you think they changed their minds? Why isn't Diddy bringing those people on? Maybe they had cold feet because they know they would be all out there like Jane is. They're like, no, I'm not doing it. Maybe they just said to Diddy's defense, no. Thank you for the comment. Look at this. And we got some other color comments, so I'm going to read that in a second. Whose name is on the American Express bill? Sean Combs, Trump Hotel bill. What was the cost for this stay? $2,890. Who paid for Jane's travel? Please turn off the public screen. Bad boy. Who paid for Cabral's travel? Jane. And what is this? A wire from Sean Combs to Jane for $5,000. Turn off the public screen. So, they just shared an operation of a freak-off that exists at the Trump Hotel, room 0508. It is between Jane, Cabral, a.k.a. Sly, and Diddy. The hotel was paid for with Combs' American Express. That cost was $2,890, so I'm assuming there had to have been some sort of damages. Bad Boy paid for Jane's travel. Jane paid for Cabral's travel. And there was a wire from Sean Combs to Jane for $5,000. Meaning that was what Cabral got out of this freak off. And usually the prostitutes, the escorts, would get somewhere around $2,000 to $7,000 in that range usually.
Freak off
per session.
At the Trump
So really,
hotel.
be honest, if you think about it, with these freak offs, with the damages, I would say the average freak off for Diddy would probably be in around the $10,000 range. With the damages, because the damages would reach 4,000. We heard one damage that was like almost 50,000, but normally the damages are a few thousand. The oils, the stains, and the carpets, and all that. Going back to some of the comments here, Miss Brown, thank you. It's funny, over the weekend, the two that Diddy could use the most had millions watch them perform on a stage in Paris. While today in court, Diddy has only 12 jurors watch him perform. The irony.
Puffy the porn star.
Murky. Thank you for the comment, Murky. What was this over the weekend about a juror being dismissed or something? Also, a PSA, everyone. Just say no to milk-flavored chapstick. Chapstick. Darla, thank you. Lisa Fowler, thank you for being a member. Sherry, going back earlier, Sherry was like, does prosecution or defense go first in closing arguments? Prosecution first. Then second. Folks, these freak offs are expensive. But notice how this operation works. Diddy pays for the hotel, but then Diddy tries to be a little slick and has Jane pay for the escort. He thinks he's slick. He pays for the hotels for these people to come, but he wires the money to Jane, which then Jane pays for the escorts. But he pays for that. He just has it done through Jane. That's a pattern that he does a lot. He wants it to fall back on Jane in reference to paying, but he pays. It's just Jane pays. We are walking through hotel records. Trump International Hotel.
Puffy's going to jail, people, and he's going to snitch to reduce his time. There's too much evidence on the table now for him to try to psych his way out of. He's just done. He is just done. Thank you for riding with me, guys. We'll see you possibly tomorrow or later on today. Have a blessed Monday. 60 gang out.